Oh, hi, you. Today I'm talking to you about personality types. And I've actually already talked to you guys about this maybe a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and I talked about being introverted and extroverted and what that means and blah, 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 blah. But today I'm talking about the Myers-Briggs personality type analysis thing, and this is something that I've been very interested in since I was probably about 15, maybe 14. Psychology and studying people's personality types and things like that are very interesting to me and something I spend a lot of time thinking about and studying, and I just figured I would talk to you all about it today. So with Myers-Briggs, there's 16, I believe 16 different types you can be, and I'm not going to list them all because that would just be lots of random letters that you guys don't understand. So I'm going to tell you about what my personality type is, and then I'm going to link you below to where you can take the test yourself, and then tell me what personality type you are in the comments below. I actually really am interested in what personality types you guys all get. Yeah, so if you could just please tell me in the comments below what you are. This is not for anyone else but for my personal self, because I just want to know what types of people watch my videos. I am an INTJ. That means I'm introverted, intuitive, thinking, and a judger. So a lot of you probably don't think I'm introverted because you see me being very outgoing and friendly and bubbly and happy and stuff. And so you would think I'm extroverted, but really I'm just an outgoing introvert. So what makes a person an introvert versus an extrovert is if you're extroverted, you get energy off being with people. And that doesn't mean you're outgoing. You can be a shy extrovert. It just means you like to be around people a lot. And you like to go to parties and you like to hang out with your friends and you like to just go out and do stuff and be active, when an introvert would just rather usually keep to themselves in their own apartment or their bedroom, and they don't really go out as often. They don't go to the movies with their friends as much as maybe an extrovert would. But it doesn't mean introverts don't have friends, and it doesn't mean we can't be outgoing. So I know I'm an introvert because, well, first of all, I took the test, but now I know a lot more about what it means to be an introvert. You know, introverts are really inside of their heads a lot. We spend a lot of time up here. We don't really like small talk as much as extroverts do. Tend to think about ourselves a lot, actually, because introverts are constantly being interpersonal and thinking about themselves and trying to be self-aware and things like that. And so you spend a lot of time thinking about yourself, and not in a vain way, just kind of, I don't know, an in your head kind of way. So the next letter is N, and that's intuitive, and that means that I kind of overanalyze a lot of things. I like theories, and I like thinking about situations, going over every detail over and over and over and replaying it in my mind. And N's are often thinking about the future. So we're thinking six steps ahead. And if you're not an N, that means you're an S, which means you are sensory, which means you intake information and you look at the world from a physical standpoint, like your senses. And S's tend to think more in the moment, whereas intuitive people think more in the future. So S people are able to live in the present and think of what's going on right now, and that's one of the cool things about them. S's do not overanalyze, and they tend to take things at face value without having to dig deeper into every single issue like N's do, which is kind of refreshing sometimes, actually. Okay, the next letter was I'm a T, which means I'm a thinker, which means that I make most of my decisions based off of a logical pattern as opposed to going off of my feelings. Now, just because I'm predominantly a thinker and I make my decisions based off thinking does not mean I don't have feelings, and I can be sensitive and I can have feelings and I can cry and I can laugh and have joy, but it just means that I make my decisions out of life based off of, I'm more motivated by my thoughts and a logical path more than I am my feelings. So obviously the other letter, if you're not a T, you're going to be an F, which means you're a feeler, and you go off of your feelings and your gut and your heart, and you do that more so than going with logic. And feelers tend to have a little bit more feelings than thinkers do, or at least they express them a lot better. A lot of artists and creative people are feelers because they're very in touch with their feeling side. So the last letter I mentioned is J, and that means I'm a judger. It doesn't mean I'm necessarily judgmental of other people. It just means that I see the world in a very black and white perspective, all or nothing. J's are very competitive, or just very opinionated, strong types of people that can tend to be a little bit uptight sometimes, but not all the time. We're not always uptight. So if you're not a J, that means you're a P, and that means you're perceptive. And that means you're a little bit more, whereas I as a J, I'm like black and white. A P would be very like in the gray area of things. So it's like you're more laid back, you're more carefree. You're kind of like, oh, you see both sides of the picture very well, and you kind of blend those two things together to get this beautiful gray. And that's what's awesome about Ps, is they can see both sides of the story very well, whereas Js are a little bit more narrow-minded, a little more like focused on that like one thing. Yeah, so that makes me an INTJ, and I know a lot of you ask me about that because I have it on my Twitter that I'm an INTJ, and you want to know what that means, and yeah, so that's what that means. I'm probably going to talk a little bit more about this stuff in the future because I find it really interesting and it's something I could talk for hours about. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below about what I was talking about today, and if you want to hear more about it, because yeah, I like it. And I'm actually, if you want to leave some questions, if you have some questions about this stuff, I would actually love to answer your questions about it. So post some comments below. Tell me what personality type you are. Go take the test. I'll post a link below. It's not like an official test or anything. It's just one that I always send people to that I found online, and I feel like it's pretty accurate. All right, and that's it for this week. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. You know, a lot of you don't follow me on my Facebook page, and that makes me sad. So you should check out my Facebook page. Not my Twitter, not my Daily Booth, not my other channel, which I do have a second channel which you could subscribe to. But yeah, check out my Facebook page. That's what I want you to check out. Bye guys, you're amazing. I love you.